Hello everyone, Mr. Horgan here. Before I get underway with this requested retro edition of The Price is Right Pricing and Recap, by request of NBC 11 News Clips as well as Sports Guy 528, let's pause for a moment of silence to remember the recent celebrities who have passed away this summer, such as Phyllis Diller, Jerry Nelson, who did the voice of the Count on Sesame Street, and U.S. astronaut Neil Armstrong. They all lived great lives. May they all rest in peace. And now it's time for a retro edition of The Price is Right Pricing and Recap. This one was requested by NBC 11 News Clips. Here is the episode that aired back on May 25th, 1984, which was 3 months before NBC 11 News Clips was born. The pricing games played on that day were the following: Temptation, Grocery Game, One Right Price, Poker Game, Safecrackers, and Switcheroo. The first contestant was Wendy. She played Temptation for a Dodge Shelby Charger that was modeled by Juicy Janice. And the 4 prizes that were in the Temptation were, first brought out by Dazzling Diane. I like to thank Ben Mason Television for that nickname for Diane Parkinson. She brought out a GoldStar computerized microwave oven with cookbook, priced at $499. Wendy believed that 9 was the first number. I'd like to point out no free numbers were given. This was a 4-digit price card. So, Wendy chose 9 instead of 4 for the first number. Next, Janice brought out a Singer free-arm sewing machine that Bob almost thought of it as either a radio or a television set. Of course, he was joking around. The price of that was $300. Wendy believed that 0 was the second number and not 3. Next, Diane brought out a Mr. Coffee gift pack that includes a coffee machine, an extra decanter, and filters. Priced at $79, Wendy chose 7 for the third number. And finally, Janice brought out an East Wind deeply cushioned chair from the Lane Company, priced at $995. Wendy believed that 5 was the last number. So she put a price of $9,075 for the Charger. Bob asked her if she wanted to change any of the numbers. Wendy chose to leave the price the way it was. Now Bob tempted her to take the $1,873 worth of prizes that were given to her for the Temptation, but Wendy decided to go for the car. Now, was the first number a 9? Yeah, sure it was. Now, the second number, was that a 0? Bob was a little worried to reveal it, because he figured that it could be a 3. Well, when he pressed the button to reveal the second number, it was 3. And the last 2 numbers were 7 and 5. The actual retail price was $9,375. I'll be honest, I didn't really feel too good on that 0, so I had a feeling she was going to lose. Okay, Sandra played Grocery Game for a Universal Piano Company Gatsby player piano modeled by Diane, and it was valued at $5,470. Janice was the cashier for the Grocery Game, and the 5 grocery items were Archway Old-Fashioned Molasses Homestyle Cookies, Zebby's Mushroom Batter Mix, Clorette's Mints, Chico-san Rice Cakes, and Ramen Pride Oriental Noodles. Sandra first chose the mints from Clorette's. She decided to buy 11 of those. One of the mints cost 45 cents. 11 of them totaled $4.95 as Janice rung up the total. So the object was to get to $7, not $20 or $21, between $6.75 and $7. So she had to spend, let's see, $1.80 to $2.05. Now, Sandra chose the Archway Old-Fashioned Molasses Homestyle cookies. She decided to buy 2 of those. One package of the cookies went for $1.29. 2 of them totaled $2.58, and that brought Sandra a total of $7.53, and she was over. Derek, spelled D-E-R-R-I-C-K, not D-E-R-E-K, played one right price for a brass beds direct daybed modeled by Diane, and a pearl grandfather clock modeled by Happy Holly. Janice brought out the one right price of $1,325, and Derek believed it went to the grandfather clock. And when the price of the grandfather clock was revealed by Janice, it was $1,150. Should have chose the daybed. Okay, Michelle played poker game for Regal Ware Cordon Bleu Matrix 7 stainless steel cookware in a set, a Lyon-Shaw Incorporated antique cafe set, both the cookware and the cafe set modeled by Diane, a Gibson rugged variable speed washer and matching automatic dryer, and an Avanti refrigerator walnut finished bar cart, both modeled by Holly. Janice brought out the prices for the 4 prizes. Of course, the prices were not revealed just yet. Michelle first chose the washer and dryer. That was $838. She chose next the bar cart, and that was $299. So she had a pair of 9s and a pair of 8s and a 3. So she had 2 pairs. Michelle decided to keep that hand and not pass it down to the house. Did it pay off? Let's see. The price of the cookware set was $800. Bob pointed out to Michelle that if the price of the cafe set had a 0, that would be 3 of a kind, and that would beat the 2 pairs. So, when Janice revealed the price of the antique cafe set, it was $400 even. 4 zeros. 4 of a kind beats 2 pairs. Boy, this is a rough show so far. 4 losses. Let's see if things picked up on pricing game number 5. Melvin, a contestant who really had a lot of enthusiasm, played safe crackers for a trip to Aruba, where he would fly to that magnificent place from Miami non-stop on ALM Antillean Airlines. And it included a 7-night stay at the DB Beach Hotel, modeled by Janice, and also Satchel durable luggage, modeled by Holly. The value of the prize package in this playing of safe crackers was $2,448. Diane was in charge of opening and then locking the safe. So, the price of the luggage that was also in the combination of the safe were $2, $8, and $9. Melvin believed the combination of the safe as well as the price of the luggage was $298. And when he turned the knob, well, not the knob, when he turned the wheel and then tried to open the safe open! Melvin won his pricing game, and he saved the show. Did our next contestant also win? Let's find out. Laura, who had a little bit of a difficult time hearing her name being called from Johnny Olson earlier in the show, and Bob teased her about that, played switcheroo for a Pontiac 1000 3-door hatchback modeled by Janice. And these 4 prizes: Super Seal food containers, Hager jeans, a pair of them, Wood Life wood preservative, and the collector vacuum from Black & Decker. Now, Laura placed 4 as the missing number for the car. She placed 1 as the missing number for the food containers. She placed 3 as the missing number for the jeans, 2 for the missing number for the preservative, and 5 for the missing number in the collector. Now, how many numbers did she get right in that first chance? 2. So Bob offered Laura another 30 seconds, in which she took, and she made this change. She chose to put the 5 as the missing number for the car and not the 4. She kept the food containers at $10. She kept the jeans at $35. She kept the wood preservative at $26, and she changed the price of the collector to $50 to $40. So she changed the prices for the car and the collector. How many of those prizes did she have right this time? That answers your question. None. Now, Bob was worried that Laura might have cost herself the car with that switch. She had it at 4 from the start, with the price being $7,443. So, Janice and Bob peeked to see what the price of the car was. And Bob was like, oh, we shouldn't show her. But you know what? They had to, and you know what the price was? $7,443. She had the car! Oh, that hurts. The 4 prizes in which the actual retail prices of them were not revealed, but if I were a betting man, I would have probably believed that she also had the collector right. But we'll never know. We will never know. Wow. So, we only had one pricing game won on this episode of The Price is Right, and that was Safe Crackers, won by Melvin. He also won $6,000 in the second Showcase Showdown. And while Melvin was like celebrating his cash victory, Bob was informing the audience that Melvin asked, "Did I win?" And Bob said, "Yes, Melvin won." Melvin, undoubtedly, is named the MVP of The Price is Right in this episode. And the contestant recognition contestant is Derek for winning his showcase, which had a Mad Scientist theme starring Johnny Olson and Janice and Diane. The prizes in the showcase included a Roe V Blue jukebox that had Janice dancing to the music after she drank the potion from the Mad Scientist. He also won a Woods of America 5-foot cheap executive rocking horse that was ridden by Diane. After she drank the potion, she was wearing a cowgirl outfit and she was riding the horse. By the way, Janice was wearing like a very nice dancing dress for a club. And finally, he also won a Catalina 22 sailboat with trailer included that had the Mad Scientist, a.k.a. Johnny Olson, drinking the potion, and then he was dressed down to a captain's outfit. That was a funny showcase. Now, Derek bid $13,000 on that showcase. The actual retail price was $14,349, a difference of $1,349. Derek won a grand total of $15,048 in prizes back on May 25th, 1984. And now, this retro edition of the Price is Right Pricing Game Recap is brought to you by Cool Ranch Doritos. M.V.P. 11 News Clips told me that this is his favorite flavor of Doritos, so that's for you, M.V.P. 11 News Clips. Now, my next retro pricing game recap was going to be the one from February 2000, requested by Sports Guy 528, which involved a contestant yodeling to the Cliffhanger's music. But that's not going to be the next pricing game recap I'm going to do in a retro edition. It's going to be the 20th season premiere from September 9th, 1991. Now, I tried to do that for Larry 4009 Returns when he requested that episode, but it was not uploaded on YouTube at the time. But just recently, Game Lover 1949, aka David Downs, uploaded the episode, so I am going to now be able to do that retro recap. And I like to point out that it's requested by Ben Mason Television and Sports Guy 528. Ben Mason Television offered to be a guest on Skype for that retro recap, and I'm definitely going to consider it. But I'm also considering of having Sports Guy 528 and Larry 4009 Returns to be my guests on Skype for that retro pricing recap along with Ben Mason Television. I'm sure it'll be okay with him. Before I go, I'd like to give a shout out to Money7373, who did his very own retro pricing and recap just the other day. He did the episode that aired back on January 10th, 1986, which was exactly 1 year before I was born. So he made a pretty good choice to recap on a retro Price is Right. Alright, folks, until next time, this is Mr. Horgan reminding you to help control the pet population. Have your pets spayed or neutered. See you around, everyone!